Brand Decoded Show, and we are back. And I can never be too loud, never too loud. Thank you, Money Exchange, not a sponsor of this show, but really love their t-shirts. Shout out to George 10, who also loves these t-shirts. Give him a follow on Twitter at Grammar Hippie, one of my favorite people on Twitter. Absolutely banger content. Anyhow, I wanted to talk about something that came to my mind. We had summer is traditionally a slow season for agency owners. There's less work, there's less opportunity, but I didn't let that stop me. And even though July was kind of timid, we closed up a few projects, things were going well. And I'm like, what am I gonna do in August? And just brace yourself, you'll be fine, like you always are. And it made me realize that going from $0 in a pipeline to reaching 100K plus in a pipeline with 5 leads was a game changer. Granted, not all of this is going to close, right? It's just a pipeline, and it's a healthy pipeline. I like all the leads that are currently in it, and whoever one of these clients we win will actually be a good match for both the client and us. And it just made me reflect, second half of June and the whole of July, it was dead. There was nothing. I would hop on calls. It was just a dead lead after a dead lead, unqualified customers, etc. And it helped me recognize this pattern. And I'm wondering if any one of you guys are actually experiencing this. You're either overbooked or you don't have enough clients. There is no in between. You're either too busy and you have a busy season, or you are dry and empty. The agency is fairly large in my case, so we always have some things to finish. And clients on the retainer. But when it comes to this hunting work, because it's one-off projects, websites are one-off projects. When it comes to them, I either have resources available and fixing up my own website, or I need to hire. There's never in between. But these things come in waves. You don't get just one lead, you get 10. You don't get one job closed, you get 5. And then you have to figure out okay, what is going to be the next step? One day I'm working on alpha efficiency website, the next day, I need to hire another designer. That's literally the situation. It doesn't happen only for the agencies. It's you got laid off your job and you don't have a single job opening in consideration. No one's looking at your profile, and all of a sudden, boom, you get 3 interviews in a row, and 2 of them send you a job offer, and you don't know which one you want to take. So trust that there are some energetic cycles that are determining whether you are getting anything coming your way, or if you're just overbooked. There's no in between. And it's like that for everything. So you need to arm yourself with resilience in understanding that the next cycle typically takes about 45 to 90 days for me, at least, that the next cycle is right around the corner. So if you're currently without a job, don't worry. When it comes, it will come in multiples. If you currently don't have a client, don't worry, because when it comes, it will be more than you can handle. The only thing you gotta keep doing when you have that slump period is keep pushing like your life depends on it. That's what I've been doing. Every time I get stuck, have faith, keep pushing. You don't know what's gonna happen, because average sales cycle, at least in my company, is 46 days, which is exactly a month and a half. So I don't look at things on a timeline that's shorter than that. If I need something in, let's say October, well, I'm working on that tomorrow. all right? Because I know what's the lead cycle and how long it's gonna take me to close that specific project. It was just funny that I was like, oh my God, how am I gonna wrap up this summer? Summer's gonna be the best one on the books, the same way that last September was my best month on the books. It's the same thing's gonna happen with the upcoming September. And these months also being good. So I'm curious to see if anyone else is experiencing this. And while you can shorten the sales cycle by introducing the incentives for clients, by accelerating marketing, by advancing the prospects through the levels of awareness so that they become solution aware of your particular problem, you just have to plow through. That is all that needs to happen. Whatever you're doing, do more. When you know that you have slow months, double up. Like if you're sending 2 emails a week to get prospects and you're sending 3 social media posts, do 6, send 4 emails, do whatever it takes, double your advertising budget, because there is a finite amount of opportunity in the summer months because people are going on vacations in July for 4th of July, then there's back to school and decision makers are worried about other things and the kids, etc. No big decisions are made during summer. It's just a fact of agency life. If you're slow, it's like that for everyone. But in these summer months is when you start to figure out who is running a business and who is running a hobby. And you don't want to be on a hobby side, because if you're on a hobby side, then what the hell are you doing? It takes the same amount of work to run a business as it does to run a hobby. You just have to prioritize things a little bit differently. You have to keep your goals in check. You have to know when every business has a season, right? Some of the previous businesses I was in, they were like, when it's tax season, they have no work. Or when it's the tax season, they have too much work. So you have to understand the season that your business is in. That's the way that you can identify the energy cycle and rough it up. Like for me, it's like a 6th year in business. Like when it's summer, I'm not worried. I just double down. Like and because of that, few last years, I was having situations where summers were my best months because I was mentally prepared and I would book as much business as humanly possible in May and June, and then I wouldn't even feel the summer slump. So be cognizant of that if you're running a service-based company, because everyone's on vacation, and sometimes instead of going against the market, maybe it's also time for you to take a vacation, especially if you did your pre-work in May and June, that you don't have to worry about July and August. People are harder to get a hold of. Absolute fact of life, unequivocally. So instead of you fighting it, just be mentally prepared and the summer won't catch you off guard. This may have, but don't worry about it. Plan for the next year or for the next season. Anyhow, that's a short observation. Brian Decoded, over and out.